Hello guys, you're welcome back to this channel. My name is Adiola. Thank you for always stopping by. If you are a new subscriber here, shout out to you. I say welcome to my channel. And if you are one of my return subscriber, thank you for stopping by again today. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut this ruched overlap top. If this interests you, let us get into the video. So after you have laid your cloth, make sure that you folded it into two that will be able to accommodate your body, the largest body circumference, which is your hip. So you are going to be folding it like that. After folding it into two, the next thing for us to do is to mark all our points. I am not using the factory edge of this fabric, so I'm going to be marking down from there. I will locate all my points, the bust point, the chest line, and also the waist, and also the hip line, which is the length of the blouse. Okay, so you're going to locate all the points. After you have gotten all your points, the next thing to do is to mark your shoulder line. And mind you, when you're marking your shoulder line for this type of top, make sure you add excess to it. Okay, just add like 1 inch to your shoulder. So I'll be working with shoulder of 15 inches here. The usual shoulder that I work with is 14 inches, so I added 1 inch to it. And from there, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I located my armhole, half of my armhole. Okay, so the half of my armhole that I'm working with here is 7.5, and that is where it's reached. After removing my shoulder slope, I have my 7.5. so whatever it is that I have on my shoulder, which is 15 inches, that is divided by 2, 7.5, I'm going to impute that 7.5 again, like you see me doing in the video. Then I'll go to my shoulder line where I have the shoulder slope. I'm going to connect this line straight down to the one on my chest line, and then I'm going to locate the midpoint of my shoulder. Okay, so after getting the midpoint, I'm going to mark it. That is for us to be able to locate our curve. So I'm going to come in by 1/2 inch, and I am going to be creating my armhole curve, just like you see me doing in this video. But before then, I'll go to my shoulder, my chest line, and I'm going to mark my bust divided by 4, so that I'll be able to connect it to the armhole curve. Okay, then I'll go to my waist too. I'm going to divide my waist by 4. I'm going to impute whatever it is that I have there, and I'm going to add my stitching allowance. Don't forget, I'm not working with under busty here. Then the length of the blouse is going to be where we are going to impute our hip divided by 4, and then we are going to add our stitching allowance. Okay, so for this particular top, make sure that you add your stitching allowance correctly, because you are going to be curving the edge. I forgot to do that in this video, but I later did it off camera. Okay, so I'm going to be adding my allowance to the bust area too, which is 1.5. I'm going to add it. Did you see that? So that I'll be able to connect my armhole curve. Then I will just go ahead and connect my armhole curve right to the chest line, like you see me doing in this video. Now the next thing you're going to be doing is to mark your neck width and your neck depth. So the neck width I'll be working with is 3 inches. That is the basic neckline. I'll be marking 3 inches for the width. So on the width, I'm going to connect it to my shoulder slope. Just to create my shoulder slope, I'm going to be connecting it like so. Okay, I'm just going to connect it to that 1 inch. Then at the center, don't forget, I'm not using the fabric, the edge that came with this, so I'll be marking 1 inch for the neck depth, because we are cutting the back first. We are going to be using this back piece to cut the front piece. Don't forget, add your shoulder allowance. So I'm going to be adding 1/2 inch shoulder allowance that I will be using to join the back bodies to the front bodies. The next thing to do is to connect all your points from the chest line to the waistline, and from the waistline to the hip line, like you see me doing in this video. Now that we are done cutting the front and the back piece, we are going to be cutting it out, and we are going to be placing this fabric on the front to cut the front piece. Just follow your stitching allowance and then follow your armhole and cut it all through to the shoulder area and also the neckline. You can see that the neckline for the back is not very deep. I used just 1 inch. So that is that about the back. You're going to be placing this back piece on the front piece so that we can cut our overlap. Now, for this overlap, I have few inches of cloth and I needed it to be longer. Please, if you have enough cloth, I will advise that you fold your front into like 22 inches extra in the front, because that will make it to cover your chest. So the next thing for us to do now is to locate our neck depth for the front. That front, I place my tape on the shoulder of the back and I measure 5 inches for my neck depth for the front. Okay, and this front area, when you are folding, please add excess to the fabric like 22 inches. That will be able to cover your chest. So from your shoulder line, connect it to that front area. Okay, connect it to that front area where your back piece started while folding it on the front piece. So you are just going to connect like so to the hem of the front piece. So I'm not going to be connecting directly on the down part because I want to join extra rope to it so that I'll be able to tie the rope around my waist. Okay, since I don't have excess cloth to have it all long together, so I'm just going to be connecting it, then mark 4 inches upward because of the hemming allowance and then the width of the band that I want to add to it so that it can be extended. I hope you get what I'm trying to explain. So I'm just going to blend it like you see me doing in this video. I'm going to blend it up like this. Did you see the reason why I asked you to add excess fabric? Because this particular front area will have excess clothes just to cover the bust. Okay, so that is what we have. Add excess to your own. Now let's proceed to cutting it out like you see me doing in the video. So I'm going to cut the side also just as I have cut the front, and I'm going to slit open the front. Don't forget that I told you that I'm going to add extension to the down part so that I can have enough space, enough wrap to wrap it around my waist. Don't forget to curve the down part. You come up by 2 inches on each side and blend it to the center. I did that off the camera. So that front side, we are going to be cutting extra inches, which is going to be additional measurement. I told you that for the front you should leave at least 22 inches, and initially I added 10 inches, so 22 inches minus 10 inches, so I'm going to be needing 12 inches. So I'm going to be marking on 14 inches here because of the joining allowance and the hemming allowance. Then I'm going to be cutting 4 inches, 4 inches, 4 inches. Then I'm going to cut it like this. Then I'm going to split it into 2 for each side. Don't forget to mark the wrong side from the right side, except if your fabric is so different. Now let's move to the sleeve aspect. If you want to know how to cut a detailed sleeve, you can check my channel. I have a detailed tutorial on how to cut a basic sleeve. So after getting the length of your sleeve from the up part, you can come down by 5 inches. That 5 inches is standard for me and it has been working for me. We have some people that says you can measure your cap height. I also do that, but for this type of sleeve, I'll just come down by 5 inches. On that 5 inches, I am going to measure half of my armhole, just like you see me doing. I'm going to mark it, which is 7.5, and come down by 2 inches from that 5 inches, and then measure your round sleeve. So this will give your sleeve a kind of comfort. My round sleeve is 12 inches, so I'm marking 6 inches, and the hem, I'm going to mark the same thing because I want it to be the same thing. Go ahead and mark your round sleeve and then add your stitching allowance to it. So I'm going to add the stitching allowance all through and blend the side like you see me doing in the video. I'm going to blend it to the hem of the the 5 inches. Okay, then on the upper side I am going to create my S curve for the sleeve. So you are just going to create the S curve like this, just the usual way we create our sleeve curve like that. Okay, so this is just a freehand. If you want to know how to cut this, I have a detailed tutorial on my channel. So this is just a freehand explanation of how the sleeve will be. Okay, so let's move to the other part of the fabric. I want to get the exact measurement of my armhole so that I can fix that on my sleeve curve so that it will fit in perfectly. I'll just measure, and after measuring it I noticed that it is exactly what I wanted, so I'll just use the remaining 1 inch as my allowance. Then I'm going to cut it out. So I've gone ahead to cut the 2 sleeve, the second part of it, off the camera. So the next thing we'll do is to go to our sewing machine and hem the edge of the sleeve. I'll do the same for the 2 sleeve, and then the bodies. Okay, the bodies of this overlap, we are going to be joining the shoulder first, and then we are going to be joining this extension rope that we cut earlier by 1/2 inch to each side of the overlap. Don't forget that we have 2 pieces for the front, so you are just going to pin it down and then stitch on 1/2 inch. I'll do the same for the other side too. The next thing for us to do is to join the shoulder together. So I'm going to pin the right side of the front to the right side of the back, like you see me doing in this video. So I'm going to pin the 2 shoulders together and I will stitch on 1/2 inch all together. So after stitching, I'm going to go ahead and join the side with my allowance. So guys, I have joined the side and I've also gone ahead to hem the neck area all around from the back to the front, and I've also attached the sleeve to it. Okay, the next thing for us to do is to hem the downside of the top after shaping the downside. Then I'll go ahead after joining the down part and I will stitch the inside like this. I'll just come down from my armhole by just 2 or 3 inches. Then you are going to stitch down the side, and one side of the rope you are going to attach this rope inside one of the casing. Gone ahead to do the necessary things, and I've also attached my sleeve. I've attached the rope to the side and hem the down part. This is the extension rope that I was talking about, and this is what we have eventually. Don't forget that we made it a top length because we want to ruch the side. It is really a crop top. So guys, we have come to the end of this video. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell so that you can get notified when I drop a new video. Bye bye guys, thank you so much.